Most people think morality is a shield, a compass, or a guiding light. But in the real world, the world of power, politics, ambition, and human psychology, morality without strategy is like a blind man in a battlefield. It might make you feel righteous, but it won't save you from betrayal, manipulation, or failure. In fact, it might lead you straight into it. Today, we're going to explore why being good isn't enough. Why in a ruthless world, blind virtue is not only useless, it's dangerous. And why only those who learn to combine morality with strategy, kindness with strength, and empathy with awareness can truly survive. We'll walk through history's forgotten lessons, break down psychological traps, and discover how the most moral people often become the easiest targets. This isn't about abandoning ethics. It's about understanding how the world really works, so you can live by your values without being crushed by those who don't. Let's begin with a harsh truth. Not everyone plays fair. The person smiling at you may be sharpening a knife behind your back. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't glorify cruelty. He simply observed that in politics and leadership, people respect power more than goodness. And he asked, is it better to be loved or feared? His answer, it's best to be both. But if you must choose fear. Because love is fickle, fear is predictable. Now this sounds harsh, but dig deeper and you'll find that Machiavelli wasn't endorsing tyranny. He was warning us that people are often more concerned with appearances than truth. That they'll support a leader who seems virtuous but hides corruption. That they'll reject someone who's honest if that honesty exposes uncomfortable realities. Look around today. The people who manipulate perceptions, who control narrative, rise faster than those who just do the right thing. The world doesn't reward virtue in a vacuum. It rewards influence, perception, and timing. And if you don't understand this, you'll be used by those who do. Let's take a real example. Socrates, a man of wisdom, ethics, and relentless honesty. But Athens didn't reward him. It poisoned him. His crime? Exposing the ignorance of those in power. He lived a life of moral integrity. He lacked the strategic protection to survive the enemy and fear he provoked. Now, contrast this with Caesar. Ruthless, strategic, politically brilliant. He knew how to use public support, military loyalty, and narrative control to climb to ultimate power. He wasn't the most moral, but he was the most effective. This doesn't mean you should live like Caesar and discard your values. It means, if you want to live like Socrates, you must understand Caesar, or end up like Socrates did. Now let's look at the psychology behind this. People assume others think like them. This is called the false consensus effect. Good people assume others are good. Kind people assume others are kind. But this assumption blinds you. It makes you easy to manipulate. Think of the nice employee who gets overloaded with work because they're too polite to say no. Or the honest person who tells too much to someone who's gathering intel to use against them. Being good becomes a weakness when you don't recognize that others may not share your intentions. The truth is, morality without boundaries is just submission. Empathy without discernment is just self-destruction. Trust without awareness is just an invitation for betrayal. So how do we protect ourselves? The answer lies in strategic morality. This means you still live by your values, but you also study the game. You understand power dynamics. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent. You know how to set limits, how to recognize manipulation, how to protect your kindness with strength. Let's break this down with a few principles. First, never assume one. Just because someone agrees with you doesn't mean they have your interests at heart. People mirror you to gain your trust, to test loyalty, watch what they do when your back is turned. Second, get used by it. Fifth, never confuse silence with submission. Sometimes the most strategic move is to say nothing, to observe, to wait. Power often belongs to the one who speaks last, not first. Let's apply this to modern life. Imagine you're in a workplace. You see incompetence, you want to speak out, but the person in charge is insecure. If you confront them directly, they'll retaliate. Not because you're wrong, but because they feel exposed. In this case, a Machiavellian would ask, what do I want long term? If it's change, maybe the smart move is to gain allies, document patterns, build influence, then speak. Not from emotion, but from position. Now imagine a relationship. You're kind, giving, loyal, but the other person starts taking you for granted. Why? Because they associate kindness with compliance. They don't respect what they don't fear losing. In this case, strategic morality means you create boundaries. You teach people how to treat you, not by what you say, but by what you tolerate. This is the difference between being nice and being respected. People today confuse being good with being agreeable. Goodness is not weakness. Real goodness has teeth. It's capable of saying no, capable of walking away, capable of fighting for what matters. And the people who changed the world, Gandhi, Mandela, MLK, they weren't just good, they were strategic. They understood how to move power structures without being destroyed by them. They didn't win by being passive, they won by being aware. And now here's the final paradox. The people who appear the most harmless often hold the most resentment. The ones who hide their anger, their ambition, their frustrations, are the ones who erupt in passive aggression, sabotage, or quiet betrayal. Why? Because they've been taught that morality means self-denial, that wanting power is bad, that setting boundaries is mean. So they bottle it all up until it explodes. Strategic morality solves this. It gives you a way to be honest about your goals without shame, to seek power not for domination but for protection, to be kind, but not naive, and to be moral, not because you're afraid of being bad, but because you choose to be strong enough to stay good in a ruthless world. So what's the takeaway? In a world that rewards perception, punishes vulnerability, and exploits blind virtue, you must become more than just good. You must become good and wise, kind and strategic, empathic and discerning. This isn't about becoming cynical. It's about becoming conscious of human nature, conscious of power dynamics, conscious of how systems work, by your values without being sacrificed for.